Hey there, HEXO traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, December 14th. Hope you're well. And in this video, going to go over some breaking news that just came out. HEXO just released a press release saying that they confirmed the reverse split, and it's going to be a 1 for 14. So we already knew that this was going to happen, more than likely based on the limited time that we have before the compliance date. In order to gain recompliance, we had to do so by January 25th, and you have to trade above $1 for 10 consecutive business days, which time is running thin, and obviously safe banking did not play out the way we expected, so we didn't get there organically, and we already had approval from back at the beginning part of 2022 for this reverse split. A lot of people were saying we were going to delist, and I said that that was likely very unlikely. I said less than 1% that we delist from the NASDAQ because of the fact that we already had this reverse split approved by shareholders. And lo and behold, here we are. We're going to be consolidating. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. I'll go over my thoughts and opinions, but smash the like helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Speaking of videos, I just posted a video yesterday on HEXO's earnings and confirmed that they're pre-market tomorrow. And this is interesting that we get this news, the reverse split news, because it came after hours, right before their earnings tomorrow morning pre-market. So is this them anticipating a positive reaction to earnings? Get this out of the way after hours, right before the earnings tomorrow. Could we see a positive and a beat tomorrow? I think that there's a high chance that we could. I'm leaning bullish, and I'm leaning to a positive reaction to earnings. And we'll take a look at the estimates here as well before we jump into the consolidation news. But you can see here the estimate for revenue is 43.57 million Canadian and negative 0.02 EPS earnings per share Canadian, all in Canadian dollars, as that's what they reported. So the fact that we're only expecting 43.57. We came in at 42.49 million last quarter, and they said that they had a really good quarter, and they're starting to focus more on profitable sales. And they said that we would continue. Charlie Bowman's interview, I also did a video on that as well, that he said in that video that they expect to have even more SG&A savings for that, right? So they're going to continue to see more improvement on that, and this could be an easy beat in terms of revenue. In terms of EPS, I'm not expecting positive by any means. I think that it could come in at a slight miss. If I were to predict, I'm not really about predictions, but I think that we're going to come in with a slight beat on revenue and a slight miss on EPS. But essentially, not a whole lot of downside from where we were last quarter on the actual revenue versus the forecast, right? So the fact that it's only 43 million, we could easily beat it in my opinion. But again, just very coincidental. The timing is very ironic that we're seeing this news, this bearish news that would be perceived as bearish, come after hours on Wednesday. And then tomorrow pre-market, before the market opens, we're getting earnings. So we'll see if my thesis comes to fruition. But we'll go through this here real quick. So HEXO announced So following the shareholder approval of consolidation of common shares on a basis of a range of 2 and 14 existing pre-consolidation common shares for every one post-consolidation common share at the annual and special meeting at shareholders of the company held on March 8, 2022, it has filed articles of amendment implementing the consolidation on the basis of 14 existing pre-consolidation common share for every one post-consolidation common share. So we'll be seeing a 1 for 14 reverse split, and it's been sent to the TSX and the NASDAQ, and we're expecting the common shares are expected to begin trading on a post-consolidation basis on the TSX and the NASDAQ on or about December 19th. So by December 19th, around that date, we should see HEXO's price trading at around $2.18. And if you're wondering what this is going to do, it's going to increase the price and it's going to decrease your amount of shares. So it's not going to change anything. The market cap stays the same. It's just an accounting trick to regain compliance. This has happened many times. Sundial just did it as well. But essentially nothing changes. The same amount of dollars that you had in shares is going to remain the same. It's just the price goes up and the amount of shares go down. And then in an actual split like Tesla did, the price goes down and the shares go up, right? So this is just the inverse of that. But essentially, we can expect that by December 19th, which would be by Monday next week. So we'll be covering HEXO's earnings tomorrow. Like I said, they do have earnings pre-market tomorrow. And if we take a look at the last time they did a split, we were nearing the end of a bear market, entering a new potential bull market. We didn't know for sure, but it was a good chance because of the amount of upside that we saw leading into that split. And they actually revised it. They had approval to do a 1-for-8 reverse split, and they revised it down to a 1-for-4 based on the momentum and the upside and the percentage gains to the upside that we had in the space. They felt it was no longer necessary. But then, of course, from the highs of February 2021, all stocks are down, anywhere from 70 to 90% plus, right? And if we take a look at HEXO's chart here at the moment, we are extremely bearish, obviously, but we're forming a nice base of support at 15 cents. I finally may have my order that's been sitting there for many months fill tomorrow at 15 cents USD. If it does, then I'll be buying another tranche, and I'll just continue to dollar cost average, right? As part of my strategy and my long-term strategy, I'll continue to dollar cost average at around 10 cents USD if we get there. But again, I'm not expecting much downside. I do think that this was mostly priced in. And then if we do see earnings, a good result from earnings tomorrow, this could absorb any of that weakness as a result of this reverse split. So like I said, the last time we did a reverse split, they cut it down from a 1-for-8 to a 1-for-4. And then after the split, the price went from about $2 all the way up to $11. So essentially, the reverse splits aren't always, negative. But if we take a look at Sundial just did a reverse split, and it did a 1-for-10, right? And then on that day, if we just zoom in, we can go into the daily time frame. On that day, we were at, leading up to that reverse split, we were at roughly $3, and then we dropped all the way down to about $2.12. And then we continued to slide from there, and we actually went below $2 at $1.96. So again, they did the reverse split right in the midst of a bit of a bear market, right? And HEXO's, again, doing a reverse split, but it seems like we could be nearing a potential bottom. But a lot of this is going to really depend on the dollar, the DXY. If that continues to break down, that's going to bode well for stocks and equities. But at the moment, SPY is a bit of a concern as well, because if it does enter a prolonged bear market into the next year and a half, which I think is a very likely possibility, then this could be very, very strong headwinds for the MJ sector, including HEXO, right? So at this time, I think that we could see this priced in. We knew from back in March of this year, of 2022, that this was already approved. So I don't think this really caught anybody off by surprise. But again, we do have earnings tomorrow, which I'll be covering. So we'll see if we can absorb this weakness that could result in more downside into tomorrow. But again, not expecting much downside. I think it's priced in, and then we'll look toward earnings to see if we can get a beat and then change that momentum. But obviously, it remains to be seen if the MJ space is going to have a catalyst, a sector-wide catalyst, if we're going to see any kind of safe banking, maybe rescheduling, maybe we have to wait a couple of weeks, maybe you have to wait a couple months, maybe we have to wait a couple years, right? We just have to come to terms with MJ isn't going anywhere. This is a new emerging and burgeoning industry, and I'm extremely bullish on HEXO and the MJ space long term. I'm diversified, and I'm just continuing to dollar cost average. I've got a short position on the S&P 500, a ton of cash as well, still sitting on the sidelines to be able to buy the dip and dollar cost average. So yeah, at this point, we'll just take it as it goes. And a lot of people are saying that, HEXO is going bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. And now they're close to positive adjusted EBITDA. And then they're expecting cash flow positive within 4 quarters from the Tilray deal closing. So we could see cash flow positive toward the end of 2023, if not the beginning of 2024. And now they're partnered with Tilray as well, number 1 and number 2 working together. And then you had a ton of people saying they were going to be delisted, right? And I said there was less than a 1% chance because they already had approval for the reverse split. And now that comes to light that, okay, yeah, we didn't have to worry about the delisting. So it's just about, looking at things holistically and realistically and just looking at the most likely scenario. And the most likely scenario is if we didn't regain compliance with the minimum bid rule is we were going to see a reverse split, right? So I had no issues with the fact that we could potentially delist. I was not worried about that at all. Again, still not concerned after this reverse split news. I think it was to be expected, and I think that most of it was priced in. So all eyes on earnings tomorrow. Going to end it there, though. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. If you could smash the like, share the video with anybody that might find value, I would appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow for an update on HEXO earnings. Take care. Have a great night.